So the Texas Democrats have fled Texas. And this is amazing. And this is very ironic. And I mean, you could not write a script like this if you tried. They are simply whining, crying, and complaining that because Texas is trying to redraw the map down there. Well, first off, let's get clear why Texas is doing this, okay? They're not doing it because they're like, hey, let's just gerrymander the state. What the hell? Yeah, that's not how it's working down there. All right. Under the Joe Biden administration, the worst president and the most corrupt administration in history. And that's how it will go down in history. I mean, we're still digging up dirt from Joe Biden 7 months later and figuring out how corrupt his administration truly was. People were flooding out of blue states, and moving to red states like Tennessee, Florida, Texas. Free states. We have no income tax here. State income tax. So you get to pocket that money right out of the gate. It's cheaper to run your business here. It's better to live here. Much better to live here. You know, in my city of Knoxville, they enacted open carry, handguns, pew pew, in 2022, I believe. And our crime has gone down 20%. Go figure. Because here, you might want to be careful who you mug, because chances are they're armed. And crime has gone down 20%. Well, how can that be? Handguns commit crime. Yeah, well, you know what? When you arm your law-abiding citizens, crime has a tendency to go down. And that's what happened here in Knoxville, where I live. I mean, hell, everybody I know carries a weapon. Everybody I know. You mug somebody here, you better be careful. Chances are you're not going to like the outcome. It's not going to work out for you the way you thought it was going to work out for you. And chances are you're going to end up in the hospital or in a casket. So, but hey, if you're a criminal and you want to commit crime, roll the dice. Whatever happens, that's on you. So you can't cry and whine about it. Unless you're in a blue state, of course, to where if you defend yourself against crime, chances are you're going to be the one to go to jail in a blue state. So, but the Democrats have been pouring into Tennessee, Florida, and Texas. So Texas, over the last 5 years, has had a population explosion. They have picked up millions, all right? Not hundreds of thousands. Millions of people. They're pouring into Texas. So Texas is like, hey, we have to redraw our maps. Normally, you wait 10 years, all right? The census will come out. They'll do the count. You come out and you say, okay, let's redraw the maps, yada, yada. But normally, you don't pick up millions of people in 5 years. But thanks to Joe Biden, Texas did. So Texas is now saying, hey, we've got to redraw our maps because our constituents, they're not being represented fairly. Because we've had so many people pour in here. And it is within their constitutional right of their state to do this. So the Democrats who start screaming authoritarianism, killing democracy, what they're doing is wrong. They're trying to grab and hold on to power. Which is ironic they would say that after coming out of Joe Biden, who literally did everything in his power to put Donald Trump in prison so they could remain and hold on to power? Ironic. But Democrats don't understand irony. They simply don't get it. And to give you a perfect example of irony and how stupid Democrats are, the Democrats flood out of Texas. And they go up to Pritzker, one of the 5 worst governors in America, in Illinois, to the sanctuary safe haven of Illinois, to keep their state from being gerrymandered because it's killing democracy. And they run to a state that was just gerrymandered by the Democrats 3 years ago. Absolutely amazing. Well, a little over 3 years ago. Absolutely amazing. In 2021, the Democrats gerrymandered Illinois, which is probably the most gerrymandered state in the union. And they did it to give themselves an advantage and a power hold in Illinois. And the Democrats who are crying about this very thing in Texas run to a state that just did this very thing. So I got to ask all these idiot Democrats from Texas that are in Illinois. So was Illinois killing democracy when they did it? Because you're claiming Texas is doing it. And Illinois really didn't have the grounds to stand on because Illinois' population did not explode over the last 5 years like Texas's did. Illinois just decided we're going to redraw it so we can pick up more seats and we're going to put it in our favor. Interesting. Interesting. And everybody's already, we've always said, if a Democrat is crying about a Republican doing it, that means they've already done it themselves. And I'm going to tell you, go on Google, just type in gerrymandering and break it down state by state. The Democrats have done this so many more times than the Republicans have, it is not even funny. It is not even funny. So then enters one greasy Gavin Newsom, one of the top 5 worst governors in America. And he says, well, if Texas is going to do this, what's going to keep us from doing it? Well, Gavin, are you that stupid? You did do it. In 2008, you all gerrymandered California. And you buried the Republicans in California. The Republicans in California are so underrepresented, it's not funny because you all gerrymandered your state. But it seems awful strange how easy it is that the Democrats forget the very things that they do. That's amazing to me. So here comes Kathy Hochul in New York. Well, if Texas is going to do it, then we're going to do it. Well, you have done it. The Democrats gerrymandered New York. This is absolutely amazing to me. When a Republican does it, they're Nazis. It's authoritarianism. They're killing democracy. But when the Democrats do it, it's good for America. Well, let's get something straight here. The Democrats love screaming Nazi. Everything that we do. Donald Trump's a Nazi. Republican Party's Nazis. We're all Nazis. Really? We're the Nazis. But it seems to me that every time I turn around, it's your party doing things that kind of represent the Nazi party. Because in the Democrat world, it's party, then country. You don't believe me? Name one good thing since Barack Obama that the Democrats have done good for the country. Name one. You can't. And don't say Obamacare. That was terrible for the country. Terrible for the country. That was one of the worst things that ever happened. And it decimated the medical field. I can't tell you how many doctors I know retired because they're like, hell, I didn't go to school for 14 years, bust my ass to make $100,000 a year. A lot of them got out. The paperwork that was through onto the doctors just from Obamacare was insane. They had to hire more staff just to do the damn paperwork, which caused them to lose more money. The amount of people that lost their jobs, hospitals went into hiring freezes. A lot of people lost their jobs during it. A lot of people who worked in private business in the medical world got their reimbursements cut up to 75% because of Obamacare. So you got your little company, you're making about $150,000 a year. You know, you're not getting rich, but you're living a comfortable life. Well, guess what? That got cut down to $50,000 a year. Now you can no longer afford to keep the company open. So it got shuttered because of Obamacare. So you can't say Obamacare was a good thing because that absolutely was not a good thing. Because what Obamacare was banking on is all these 20, 21, 22, 23-year-olds to jump on Obamacare to get insurance who never needed to use it because they were healthy, and they didn't do it because they couldn't afford it. So what happened is Obamacare came after me, my insurance before Obamacare. And I'm getting to a point here. Stay with me here. My insurance before Obamacare, I paid $125 a month for Blue Cross Blue Shield with a $25 copay, and I paid like $5 for medications. As soon as Obamacare got passed, my same insurance policy went to $700 a month with a $7,000 deductible, the same exact I could no longer afford it. So I had to cancel my health insurance because I kept a private policy because I liked having that freedom. I had to cancel. I lost my health insurance because of Obamacare back then. So I don't want to hear that it's good, that Obamacare was the good thing, because you can't name one good thing the Democrats have done for the country since Obama. You literally cannot. And anything that you tell me, well, Joe Biden did this, I will prove to you that it wasn't good for the country, that it was only good for the Democrat Party. Because in the Democrats, it's party, then country, which is pretty Nazi-ish, isn't it? But you all love calling the Republicans Nazis. Then, of course, we have a political party that tried to sway an election into their favor with Russia, Russia, Russia. Well, that sounds pretty Nazi-ish too, doesn't it? Then, of course, we had a president that tried to persecute their political adversary from taking power. Well, that sounds pretty Nazi-ish, doesn't it? when Joe Biden did everything they could to put Donald Trump in jail. And yet you all love to claim Republicans Nazis. Just look at poor Sydney Sweeney. You all are literally calling her a Nazi because of the ad she did. More on that in an upcoming video. But the Democrats, who always put party first, ran to a state, a sanctuary state, which is already breaking federal law, to keep from having to vote on gerrymandering, and they ran to a state that the Democrats just gerrymandered. This is amazing to me. And it's just funny how fast the Democrats forget their own corruption. Just like, now we're digging into Russia, and we're finding all this evidence coming up of how corrupt it really was and all the lying. And during Russia, that's all the Democrats want to talk about. Like Adam Schiff, that little girl. That's all they want to talk about. But now that Donald Trump's in the presidency and all the dirt's coming out, now they're all saying, well, let's just move along. That was in the past. Well, of course, because you got caught. You got caught in your lie. And now all of a sudden, gerrymandering is a horrible thing. It's killing democracy. Y'all are a bunch of Nazis down there, even though nobody has done it more than the Democrats. The Democrats have gerrymandered literally every blue state in the union in their favor. And like I said, they buried the Republicans in California. The Republican side of California is so underrepresented because of gerrymandering from the Democrats. And yet they have the audacity to complain about gerrymandering. I can't wrap my brain around this. And it amazes me that anybody in this world votes for a Democrat because all they do is lie, whine, complain, spin, and deflect. That should be their motto because that's all they do. They do nothing good for the country. I cannot think, since Bill Clinton left office, I cannot think of a single good thing the Democrats have done. Not one. I could sit here and give you a masterful list of all the bad things they've done. A masterful list. I mean, hell, just look at Afghanistan. Look at Joe Biden's 9.5% inflation. The cost of everything going up 30% across the board. The infrastructure bill, yeah, that didn't work. Most of that money got funneled off to the Green New Deal. Who else but the Democrats can build 8 car charging stations for $9 billion? Who else but the Democrats could do that? Nobody. Hell, I could have built those stations, and I don't know anything about it, for probably a few million. Not the Democrats. They built 8 for a cost of $9 billion. So it was basically 1.23 billion per charging station. That is insane to me. And now they have the absolute audacity to whine about Texas gerrymandering Texas, who chances are could pick up 5 seats, when they do the same thing in every state that they've had, and they ran to a state that just got through being gerrymandered by the Democrats. Absolutely amazing. So the good side of this is Governor Abbott said, if you're not back here by Monday, which would have been yesterday, or depending on when you see this video, day before yesterday, that we're going to put a warrant out for your arrest if you're not here by 3 p.m. And what do the Democrats do? There's nothing he can do. So Governor Abbott put down a warrant for your arrest. I mean, you're so stupid. And what you all should have done is you should have went back to Texas and said, you know what? Turnabout is fair play. Hell, we do it. We do it all the time. Now the Republicans are going to do it. You know what? I can't get mad at the guy robbing the bank if I'm a bank robber. I can't do it. Same thing. I can't get mad at the Republicans for gerrymandering when that's all we do. We gendarmerie every chance we get, we do it. But amazingly, the Democrats get mad at the Republicans for doing the very thing that they do. That's amazing. So there's a warrant out for all their arrest because that's how smart they are. And which brought up to the next side. Have they been taking any bribes on that side? Because don't hold me to this, and I don't know who paid for their trip up there, but if somehow the money was funneled through Pritzker to pay for their trip, that would have be considered a bribe. And if they can prove that any of them took a bribe for whatever reason, the trip to Illinois or whatever have you, that means they can be prosecuted and removed from office. Absolutely brilliant. I got to tell you, you Democrats are the smartest group of people I've ever seen in my life. The smartest group. Because I would never think to do something as stupid as run to a state that just got gerrymandered to keep from voting in a state that's trying to be gerrymandered. And then saying that gerrymandering a state is killing democracy and they're all Nazis. You got to give it to the Democrats, man. You got to give it to them. They are literally the dumbest group of people walking the face of this planet. And everything they touch, they ruin. Look at Australia. Look at it. Look at UK. Look at New Zealand. Look at Ireland. Hell, liberalism's taken hold and has ruined all these countries. Ruined them. And they're trying to do that here, but luckily we have one Donald Trump. And as true Americans, the Republicans, the last bastion of hope in our country, that are fighting these clowns every step of the way. So you all stay up there in Illinois. You stay in the state that just got gerrymandered to keep the state you're from being gerrymandered. I can't even figure out how they think that this even makes sense. I can't even figure this one out. And with a little luck, when y'all return, you'll be arrested by Government Abbott for not fulfilling your duties. And if we're really, really lucky, we'll be able to prove that you all took a bribe. Maybe somebody paid for your way to go to Illinois, which would be constituted as a bribe. And then you'll be removed from office altogether. Because the only way we're going to save America is to get rid of Democrats and to get rid of liberalism.